Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Deen, your brother in Deen. Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm gonna show you guys how I sharpen my knives. One of the many ways, but I'm gonna show you only two ways, the way I sharpen my knives. One of the subscribers also asked me to do this video, so I'm doing this for him. So let's get started. I chose few of my knives here. This is my Mora knife. This is the knife I use mostly inside my garage. So this is right above my workbench. So whatever I need it for, I use it. And this is the knife that I use the most actually. It stays sharp. I talked about Mora knives before. They're really good knives. They stay sharp, so that's why I keep it right above my workbench. It's tucked in, it's always ready to be used. This knife here, I actually made this knife here. As you guys can see, it's just a little knife. I made it for fun. One of the few knives that I have made. This knife I use to open up my envelopes for my packages. I do order a lot of stuff online, so I open this for my packages. This knife here is one of my first knives that I use for hunting, and this is a buck knife. This is good knife. I've used it for a few years, and as you guys can tell, I haven't used it for a while now. I just have it sitting inside my toolbox. And this is the knife I use for my hunting. This is Falkniven F1. I believe Swedish pilots use these knives. So I did a lot of research before I purchased it, and I never regretted for buying this knife. This has been really good knife for me. As you can tell, it's got a lanyard hole here. It's a full tang. These knives, they stay sharp. And I have been using it for probably past 5 years. I've been hunting with it, and I use it for my bushcraft, for hunting, for every time I go out I use this knife. And this knife, I use it to cut up vegetables or stuff like that. It's a nice straight edge here. It's really easy to use it to cut something up. It went dull on me, so I want to use this knife for tonight's purpose, to show you what I use and how I use my sharpening tools that I have to sharpen my knives. And as always, guys, it's really important to have a sharp knife, and it's always better to have a sharper knife than a dull knife. Sharper knife, when you're cutting things, you don't have to put as much pressure to cut things. But when you have a dull knife, you're going to have to put a lot of pressure, and that's where the slips happen, and that's when you could cut yourself. So one of my first tools for my sharpening that I'm going to show you today is whetstones. I use whetstones. I don't use them much. I'll go into this later on, why I don't use them much. But if I have a lot of time, I can use them. But this usually takes a lot of time, and I don't want to spend a lot of time sharpening knives. So let's get into this here, how this works, and maybe sharpen this knife here, and I'll show you how I sharpen it. So the way this sharpener works here is you have your whetstones, and you have this rod here that has a little ball at the end here that you can hold, and it's got a little spring here. As you can see, this spring. So this spring, you can pull back on this, and it holds your whetstones in place. So I'm gonna grab one of the whetstones. I got 400, 800, and 1500. So 1500 would be really fine, and it would be like for strapping. But for right now, I'm gonna use 400 because I already have a bevel made on this. you would use a lower grid if you didn't have this bevel and this secondary bevel here, as you guys can tell right here. So the way this works, you would place that in there, pull this to the back, and there you go. Stays just like that. And this little rod, there is a hole here on the side over here. On the side, you place this rod in there, and you would go back and forth. And this right here is to adjust your height. I'll show you this in a minute. Let's grab a knife. This is the knife that we're going to sharpen. And we have a little blue marker here. So the blue marker, you would put the blue marker on your bevel here just to know that how much material you're taking off. Just like that. And of course on the other side. Just like that. And what I like to use my my tape, just to put a little bit of tape on my knife so I don't get it scratched, because this right here, this is gonna keep the knife secured right there. So you loosen up, there is a screw here, you loosen this up, put the knife in there and tighten it down. So just for my knife not to get scratched, I put a little bit of tape. There is also a little bit of a rubber that goes at the end over here, but a lot of times I find it because my bevel is so close to this that I would be scraping this with the whetstone. So I just take that off and I just put a little bit of a tape. Just a little bit of tape. It's actually too much. Just like that. Just like that. There you go. So I'm gonna place in my knife in here. And this right here is adjustable. So you can go with bigger blades. It goes as far as all the way on the bottom. So you can do from really small blades to really big blades. So put my knife in there like that, just like that, and tighten it down. And there you go. My knife is now secured in there. There's these little suction cups right there. You can stick them to the table, but we won't need that in this video. Okay, so this right here, this can go up and down, and this right here tightens your secures this to the rod to stay level with your knife. So what I do next is I put my rod through that hole right there and I lift up, and there are little markings on the side over here of this. I'm not sure if you guys can tell. There's a little markings here. It just gives you the reference points, but I don't use those because once I tighten it down, I don't move it again. So I just lift this up, find a good reference point, there you go. Looks like the green one is pretty good reference point right there. And just tighten it down. once everything is tightened down and everything is secured in place, there you go. And as you guys can tell over here, I'm starting to take that blue marking off, so I know that I'm in a good angle. So we'll just keep going. There you go. As you guys can see, this is time consuming here. And as you can tell, on that side, the blue marking is gone, and I can feel the wear on the other side. So I would flip this over and do the same thing on this side, and I would just work my way up with the stones. So this was 400, I would go to 800, then I would go to 1500, and 1500 is just making it nice, looking nice and looking smooth, and strapping it. It's like if you ever guys saw those barber shops, the way they're sharpening their blades is they take out those leather straps and they sharpen them like this so they stay sharp. And that's basically it for the whetstones. Once I get done with this, I would take it out, put it back in the water, and I will use higher grade like 800, and like I said, I would go up for that. But this is very time consuming here, and this is why I don't use this a lot. My next one that I use is my favorite one, and I'm glad I invested my money into this. Is this work sharp. This work sharp, you can sharpen any knives within minutes. Yes, I said within minutes. And mind you guys, these guys are not sponsoring me or anything. This is just something that I found over the years useful to use it for my knives, for my tools, for my axes, for everything. You can use it as a grinder, you can use it as many things. So let me open this up and I'll show you what this is all about. Let's open it up. So this is the tool, and it's, of course, it's electric, and that's what I like about it. It works pretty fast, it works good. This is one of the belts, one of the first belts that I used for knife sharpening. And this is a leather belt for strapping your knives. It comes with the two different attachments. So it comes with like for outdoor knives, for scissors, you can sharpen scissors with this. You got a 50 degree and you got a 65 degree, and you got it over here for serrated knives. You can sharpen any knives with this. And this is pretty cool tool. This right here, this is for kitchen knives. So this is 20 degree on each side. This works pretty good. When my wife wants her knives sharpened, I get it done in minutes. That's how good this works. And I'm gonna show you guys right now. It comes with a lot of different stuff and accessories. It comes with a little bag, but I never taken it out of the case. And this case is pretty cool. As you guys can tell over here on the back, you can sharpen any knife. Scissors, serrated knives, hunting knives, pocket knives, anything. You can do axes. You can even sharpen your blades on arrows. So once you use those arrows, once they go through the animal or you hit the ground, you know, they get dull. So you can sharpen those as well. This is like for any tools, and this works really good, guys. So I'll put the box on the side over here, and these belts over here, you can also buy the belts. Belts are pretty cheap. They're like $5-6 for a few belts. You press down, you turn it, and the belt comes right off. So for today, we're gonna use this belt here. I'm not sure how good is this. Nope, it doesn't have one there. But this is the one I use, and this one here. Like I said, this one here is just a leather belt, and this over here is what sharpens your knives. So the way you put it on, just put it on there, just like that, and you turn this little knob and it gets the tension. You can also change the tension over here, or if your belt is not sitting right on there, you can change if you put a little bit more tension, it kind of moves the belt. And we're gonna use this one. We're gonna use this one. This is for hunting knives, and this is for kitchen knives. So I'm gonna use this knife to sharpen it. And the way you put this on, it's simple, just like that. There's a little attachment over here on the back. Just slide it on there, and there it goes. So I'm gonna plug it in, and I'll show you guys how fast and amazing this tool is. I would recommend it to everybody. So let me plug it in, and we'll get going with this. It's plugged in, it's good to go, and this is how this works. They recommend you, if the knife is really dull, to go 5 times on one side and 5 times on the other side. So you would go 5 times like this, while it's running, of course, and you're gonna feel the burr. Maybe I will show you, maybe I will be able to zoom in and show you the burr on the side of the knife here. But basically this is how it's done. Anybody can do it. Anybody. This is how it's done. Get the knife in there and get going. So I'm not sure if you guys could see the burr over here on this side. You're supposed to feel a burr over here. And you would just go to the other side and repeat. And now this knife is sharp as a razor. To go one step further, take that off just like that. Push, twist, take off your grinding belt and put on your other belt for strapping. Just like that. Put this back on there. Now, what they recommend you when you're strapping it, you go 10 times. So you go one side, then the other side. You switch the sides between the numbers. So just like this. 1, 2, and just keep on going. And this knife is so sharp right now, guys. So sharp. Let me finish this and I'll show you guys how sharp this knife is. Right there. this helped you guys. And as always, my name is Deen. If you guys like this kind of stuff, please give me a thumbs up. And if you guys are new here, please consider subscribing. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum.